Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm Nick Gray for Phandroid, and today I am doing a camera comparison with the all-new OnePlus 8 Pro, which was just unveiled this week, and comparing that to the Pixel 4, which I'm using right now to record. Now, as I do in all of these camera comparisons, everything that you see in this video is recorded with these two devices, so keep an eye on the bottom of the screen to see which device is being used. With that, let's jump into some side-by-side spec comparisons to see how these two devices stack up on paper. We're going to start things off with the OnePlus 8 Pro. As you see on the back of the phone here, you get 4 cameras, 2 of which have 48 megapixel sensors for the main and the ultra-wide camera, an 8 megapixel camera with a 3x hybrid zoom, and then finally a 5 megapixel color filter camera. And then up front, you get a 16 megapixel front-facing camera that can record 1080p video at 30 frames per second, while the rear cameras can max out 4K video at 60 FPS. And switching over to the Pixel 4, you get a dual camera setup on the back of this phone with a 12 megapixel main sensor, 16 megapixel 2x telephoto, and then up front, you get an 8 megapixel front facing camera. That one there can record video 1080p at 30 frames per second, but the rear cameras can go up to 4K, but they're limited to 30 FPS. And now that we have the specifications of these two smartphones all squared away, let's jump into some side-by-side photo and video comparisons with the Pixel 4 and the OnePlus 8 Pro to see how they handle a variety of different lighting conditions in everyday scenarios.
you now.
I think that's my piece.
She just licked her finger and stuck it on top. That's huge, dude. The bigger the better. Make it a little skinnier.
That's for me?
Skinnier.
Yeah.
Thanks.
You're welcome. So heavy.
It's been an extremely cloudy day today, but right as sunset set on, clouds cleared up just a little bit so we can get some extra color in for some videos and some shots here. Going from the standard lens to the zoom lenses on both devices. Again, 2x zoom on the Pixel 4 with an actual zoom lens versus the 3x hybrid zoom on the 8 megapixel sensor. Again, both of these recording 4K 30 frames per second right now, but the OnePlus 8 Pro can go all the way up to 60 FPS. Now for the front-facing cameras on both of these devices, they don't have optical image stabilization, but they do use electronic image stabilization to keep the images steady as possible. I don't know if you can see it right there. There's a deer just hanging out by this school. But yeah, I mean, this is pretty good for what it is. The Pixel 4's image stabilization doesn't look to be quite as good as what you get on the OnePlus 8 Pro, but it's still pretty good. And this year should give you a good idea of what low light conditions are like. And this here should give you an idea of what video capture is like in low light conditions from the OnePlus 8 Pro and the Pixel 4. As you can see, both of these devices do shoot in the same resolution and frame rate, 1080p 30 FPS. But it does look like the Pixel device does have just slightly better dynamic range in these conditions, not blowing out the highlights with the lights and stuff in the background. So that's going to do it for this quick comparison between the cameras on the Pixel 4 and the OnePlus 8 Pro. Now, I do have to admit that I really wasn't expecting much out of this device since last year's OnePlus 7T really couldn't stand up to the Pixel 4. OnePlus did a really good job this time around, even though the Pixel 4 does come out ahead in my opinion in most of these scenarios. The OnePlus 8 Pro does really shine when it comes to video quality when compared to Google's device. Let me know what you think of the results in the comments below and which device you would rather own for taking pictures on a regular basis. Thank you guys so much for watching. For more camera comparisons with the OnePlus 8 Pro and other flagship devices from 2020, make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit that bell icon as well. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.